video is just going to go through another method for multiplying decimals, and again, pick which method you like and stick with it. And so in this method, we're just going to work with the numbers as we see them and basically ignore the decimal, okay? And then at the end of the problem, we're going to go back and then look at the decimal and figure out how many places we need to move the decimal. So the first step is just to rewrite the problems that you're working vertically, and then step 2 is to multiply. So I've rewritten the problem vertically now, 3.77 times 2.8. Now I did line up the decimals, but that's just my personal preference, and by doing that I have to fill in this space with a 0. But this is not like adding and subtracting where you have to keep the decimal in line. You absolutely, positively do not keep the decimal in line when it comes time to write your answer. I just keep it in line here so that I set up the problem and it just looks more uniform to me. So we're just going to work with the numbers that we see, 377 times 280. So 0 times 7 is 0, 0 times 7 is 0, and 0 times 3 is 0. So now I'm going to move on to my 8, and since it's the second number, I need to put a 0 in to hold my place. So 8 times 7 is 56, so I'm going to bring my 5 over. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 1 more is 61. And then 8 times 3 is 24, plus 6 more is 30. Now I'm ready to move on to my 2. So I have 2 places to hold. And now 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 more is 15. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. So now I'm ready to add my columns. So this column equals 0, this column equals 6, this column is equal to 5, this column equal to 5, this column equal to 10. So now I have my product of my math here, and I have 105,560. So now the next step is to place the decimal. And this is going to be based on the total numbers that we see after the decimals for the problem. So we have 3.77 and 2.80. So you look at all of the numbers that are after the decimal. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. So there's 4 numbers after the decimal, and that 4 means that's how many times we need to move our decimal. So again, we want to start at the far right. So we start here, and there's 4 numbers. So we move the decimal 4 places. So move the decimal 4 places. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. My new decimal goes there, and my answer is 10.5560. Now, if you watch the other video for the other method, you'll see that we now have the same answer, 10.556. All right, let's look at one example. 2.6 times 0.03. So I've just written them, filling in here's my 2.6, and then my 0.03. So I just put in zeros to hold my place. So now I'm just going to do the math. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 6 is 18. Carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. Now I'm ready to do my second 0. I'm going to put a 0 in to hold my place. And then 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 6 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. Now I'm ready to move to my third 0. I have 2 zeros to hold my place. And now 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 6 is 0, and 0 times 2 is 0. So now I'm ready to add my columns, 0, 8, 7, 0, 0. I start here, look at the total number of numbers after the decimal, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 places, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my decimal goes here, and my answer is 0, 0.0780. And this concludes just a very quick video on another method of looking at how to multiply decimals. So notice in this example, using this method, we had to move the decimal 4 times. If you watched the other video, you would have seen that it was a different number of moves, however you ended up with the same answer. So you want to pick which method works for you and use that method and become proficient at that method.